We're back here in the WCEG Network studio. I'm your host, Rev Patrina McClure, in the studio again with Dr. Victoria Thedford. We've been enjoying our time with her here in the studio on today. And we had an interesting conversation during the break where we talked about allergies.
Yes.
So we had to add this to the list of things to cover. And Dr. Thedford, you said something that was really powerful, that we don't have to take those allergy panels like we used to back in the day, where they poked and prodded you with a whole bunch of needles back in with a whole track of things, but they can just simply take a blood test.
Yes. Instead of doing the skin test, as we call them, we can just take a couple of vials of blood. We can run all the food, all the environmental, everything just from a few tubes of blood.
A few tubes of blood. That's relatively quick than going through all of those panels and then coming back and having to be retested in certain things to confirm whether or not if you're allergic to whatever was identified.
Absolutely.
All of that stuff. So is that how you all determine if someone is gluten allergic, or what is that word? I don't know.
Have a gluten allergy, a gluten sensitivity. But yes, all that is done also with blood. So we can test pretty much for any allergen out there or any type of sensitivity. And the good thing about the blood is you don't have to stop taking your antihistamines. You don't have to stop taking your allergy medicine. You can still continue that because it does not affect the blood results. Whereas the skin testing, you have to stop everything for about a week, and then you're suffering with your itchy, your runny nose, your runny eyes. So that's why I love using the blood test. It's very simple and quick.
Amazing. One thought came to mind, how you talked earlier in the show, how the blood has to be cleaned up whenever someone goes on dialysis. So it's necessary for us to have the clean blood in order to identify what's wrong or right with us. Is that correct?
Well, yes. Well, having clean blood is essential for life. Now, the liver and the kidneys both do that. So healthy bodies promote healthy liver and kidneys, which we can get everything out and keep us healthy. So it's like a filtration system. And as you mentioned before, we have to take care of our bodies for it to work, just like a car. You have to change the oil. You have to put gas in it. You have to take it to the mechanic to fix things so that it can keep running for you. So if it breaks down, that means there's something you didn't do. So same thing with our bodies, even more so.
Yeah, really. Yes. With more grave effects, if you will.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, so can you explain that gluten thing for us? Because we hear it now, again, the last few years, gluten this. Even my doctor recently said she was going to test me to see if I had a gluten allergy. And I'm like, what the heck is it for real? I need to look that up.
Yes. Well, generally, anyone, when they start having digestive problems, so my first thought is, first see if they're allergic to any foods, because that's the number one culprit. So again, we're not born with allergies, we grow into them. So now, my stomach hurt after I eat a meal, and then we run the allergy panel and go, aha, you're allergic to beef now, you're allergic to chicken, you're allergic to soy. And then you cut that out of your diet, and then you're good. Now, sometimes we'll see you have a wheat allergy, and that goes along with the gluten. Gluten is made from wheat. So when we see that and you've got digestive problems, then we go further testing with that and check the gluten sensitivities and enzymes and antibodies. So when those are raised, then that means you have a problem processing that. So any food you eat with it, when it breaks down, you can't digest it. So it's going to cause a problem going through your gut. And that's when we say, okay, now you have to cut this out of your diet and that out. But it is a process. Once you feel like you have a problem digesting, then we should go looking for those things.
Okay. Interesting. You got my mind going in a whole lot of directions now.
And I do want to point out, I'm sorry, that there are two things. There's a difference between gluten allergy and gluten sensitivity. So when you're allergic to gluten, you can't have any. Now, when you have a sensitivity, that means, I can have a little, but if I go over that amount, then I'm going to have those problems. So it's good to know which one you are.
Interesting.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. I got some homework to do.
Yes.
And then you also talked about allergies, about desensitizing them.
Yes. Now, there are some allergies that people have, like food allergies. If you have those, we just tell you to stay away from them and you will fix the problem. Now, there are some allergies, a lot of them are environmental, that you can't avoid being around. For example, if you're allergic to trees and grass and weeds and you have to go through summer, you can't stay in the house all day.
Right.
And for some people who that's their job, as in landscaping, they can't avoid those. They are going to come in contact with that. So what we can do is something called desensitization. So basically, whatever they're allergic to, the allergist makes up a concoction with a small amount of those things in it, and we inject them every so often, and that makes the body say, okay, I don't like you, but it's a little bit, and I'm going to get used to this. So over time, we desensitize people to their allergens. Sort of like as an example, you don't like hot peppers, but if I just give a little bit at a time, then over time your tongue is going to get used to it and it's going to deaden to that, and then you'll be able to eat them. So that's sort of what desensitization is. It allows you to get used to the thing that you are allergic to, and then your body won't attack it.
Okay, you just had me have a whole nother set of thoughts. This is really good. I started thinking about how when I drink caffeine,
yes,
my throat goes out.
Oh,
so
goodness.
There's only so many things I can do if I drink coffee or
Yes.
tea. And I love those things.
Yes.
So I'm like, it must be the caffeine. Maybe I really have an allergy to it. But then I like coffee. And sometimes that little boost helps.
Okay, because I was going to say there's caffeine free.
Yeah, I mean, because it's like my body isn't producing
Yes.
enough of something. And so by the afternoon, if I don't have coffee, then I'm like dragging.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Wow, why is the day taking so long? I need to go somewhere and sit down. I need to take a nap. My mind goes to those thoughts. Yes.
Uh-huh.
So would that be almost symptomatic of an allergy, or that blood panel would come?
That is quite not the same. Your body is used to the caffeine high, so to speak. And that's sort of like when I tell you, if you just stop something, you throw your body in shock.
Okay.
And it's not used to that, so things are going to shut down. So what you have to do is gradually wean yourself off, and then your body will gradually get used to it, and then it won't shut down later. Okay. So not quite the same.
And sister needs a little bit of help up in here. All right. Now, I want to talk about dental care.
Yes.
I remember my dentist a couple of years ago, he made a statement, you all put money into everything
Absolutely.
else.
Absolutely.
But you need to work on your dental care. Mm-hmm. And I would like to see the connection of the dental care in regards to the health.
Oh, yes. There's everything in the body is connected.
Okay.
So, of course, we need teeth to eat and talk and hold our face right. So there's a place for it. And with everything, you have to maintain everything. So dental health is very important. So not just for appearance, but also the problem comes in when we have tooth decay. So now you got a pocket for bacteria to grow. And because it's in our mouths, we're going to swallow it. So now it goes into our gut and it gets into our system, and it can cause a lot of infections and a lot of problems. So that is vitally important, just like everything else in our bodies. So, of course, maintenance, brushing, flossing, getting them clean periodically. And then another thing is when we have a problem. Now, sometimes stuff happens, we can bite something, it'll break off. And then, of course, it's, okay, well, I'll get it fixed later. And then a lot of things that push us to the doctor is, now it's painful. Okay, so now I'm going to see a doctor. And one of the problems that I do run into is, that happens. People get an abscess, an infection, and pain. So they come to me and, okay, here's antibiotics, here's pain medicine, but that's not going to fix the problem. That's going to stop your pain right now. But you must go to the dentist to get this fixed, or else it's going to happen again. Okay, I make an appointment, and then 3 weeks later, oh, it happened again. Can you give me, more antibiotics, more pain medicine? But that's just a vicious cycle. So you have to go get the problem fixed. And then you're going to see a whole lot of other things that can cause headaches. It can cause migraines because this is in the head. And so it touches all the nerves going in the head. Ear pain, jaw pain. Then you can't chew. Then you can't eat. And that leads to nutritional deficiencies. I mean, everything is connected. So you have to maintain that as well.
Wow. So we're paying for insurance.
Yes.
But we're not using it the way we need to because we look or get fearful for those initial shock amounts. But then when we look at it, or if we're eligible to pay in installments, invest in those things.
Yes,
because it's all a part of you being responsible for your health.
Absolutely.
So dental care is health care.
Absolutely. It's part of the body, it's part of your health. Yes. And it's in your head with your brain and the nerves. That's very, very important. And I tell my patients, they come in and, okay, your copay is $30 and they complain. And then I look at their nails and their hair and I'm like, you just spent, $90 on your nails. Did you complain to that person when you paid them? But you're complaining about coming here, getting your, medical care, and you don't want to pay your $30. So that I don't understand.
Right.
When it comes to that. Now, there are some people that just, they really can't afford it. But when you come in looking glamorous.
Right.
Our priorities are off.
Yes, they are. And I remember talking to someone about, you're paying for your health care. You need to go on and go because I've been guilty of that.
Yes.
Because your bosses, they're wanting you to be at work.
Absolutely.
But then they encourage you to participate in the healthcare plans or the dental plans or whatever those flexible benefits are. You need to go on and utilize it because you're just giving money away.
Absolutely. And one thing that I have noticed with some insurance plans, which is great, is they give you an incentive. If you go to the doctor and you get all this stuff done, they will give you money back or they'll give you a Visa gift card or a discount on your premiums. And that has helped tremendously. I've seen a lot of patients come in, and this is so funny. This is what they say. I'll say, oh, you come in for a physical? Yeah, because I want this $100 gift card. It's like,
you have to see a return.
Whatever gets you here.
Yes, that's fine. The important thing.
And then once we open up that door and then I start explaining and they see everything is good, then that actually makes them want to continue. So it's great. I tell everybody, if I could just get you in the door, I will sell you and you'll be good. So that's our job as physicians. We just explain and talk to our patients, understanding them, understanding their fears. That is such a big thing and is very vital. So once you understand your fears or your concerns, then we can help you much better and we can work together. It's not just, oh, I'm the doctor, you take this. We're a team. So if this doesn't work for you, now let me come up with something else that will work for you so that we can get things moving.
I notice how you're speaking on learning the patient. You're really emphasizing that, and I don't think a lot of people feel that from their physicians. However, they expect the physician to go ahead and take care of all that's wrong with me.
Yes.
When they have a place in this too, because you just said we are a team.
Yes, absolutely.
So whatever you tell your doctor, that doctor needs that information in order to diagnose you more properly, if not properly, so that they can get you the right kind of help. But you have to be willing to tell the truth.
Absolutely. And the thing is, we're not psychics. We don't know everything. So there's some things you have to tell us so that we'll know. Like, you've been having this flank pain, but you didn't tell me. But when I ran your test, I see your kidney function is not right. So then I have to ask, have you been having problems? It's like, oh yeah, my back has been hurting, but I don't find this out until 3 weeks later when I get your results. So you definitely have to tell us things. We have to be detectives and try to pull things out, but it will help greatly if you say, okay, well, and what I hear a lot is, I don't know if this is something. Okay, still tell me and I will tell you if it's something or not.
Okay.
So that's what I tell all my patients. No question is a silly or crazy question. You ask it and I will tell you if it's something that you should worry about or, it's nothing.
And sometimes what I do is write a list of things out because I'll forget.
Absolutely.
And I think that I'm going to remember.
No, we never do.
And then it's like, dog, I left up out of there and I forgot to tell the doctor this.
Absolutely.
So I learned how to write a list.
Yes.
And here's a list of stuff. So when I make my appointments, they're like, why are you calling? First, I got the list in front of me making the appointment.
Yes.
The immediate concern is this, but I also have this going on.
Absolutely.
Because then I noticed too, if I only say it's only 2 things,
right.
they just want to see you for the 2 things.
Exactly.
Because you didn't tell them about the other 5.
Right. And that's important because when we schedule patients, we put them in a time frame according to what you say you're coming in for. So if you're only coming in because you have a sinus infection, I'm going to put you in 15 minutes because that's all you said. But you really have some back pain and some other issues. Had you said that when you make the appointment, I would have told them to give you an hour. But sometimes when you don't give us everything, it causes time constraints. But I still try to accommodate, everything. But yes, lists are great. All my patients already know. And when I walk in the room, I hold my hand out. Where's your list?
Wow.
And then a lot of them, text me your list before you get here so we can already go over it. But those help tremendously. I encourage everybody, write it down, take it, show your doctor. Yes.
That's good. That's good. Because I know I can't remember half of everything. But anyway, so I have to write stuff down. And then this is a sensitive issue. This one came up in my spirit as I began to think about what we discuss as you asked. And STDs in the faith community.
Yes.
A lot of churches still don't want to approach these issues. The more progressive pastors and congregations, they discuss a whole lot more. But this is a reality now. And not just with that particular community, but also your elderly community.
Yes,
so, I mean, I'm just saying.
Absolutely.
But in the faith community, that speaks volumes, but I mean, it's not going to go away if we don't talk about it.
Right.
It's still there.
It's still
happening.
Yes.
But I think that as believers, we have to discuss that we are having sexually transmitted diseases in our congregations, because people are going to be people.
Absolutely.
And depending on where they are in their faith journey determines how they control themselves.
Yes. Oh, goodness. Very, very important. My first thing when patients come in and say, oh, this is happening, I think I may have something. Okay, so we check and, okay, yes, you have this. And then the response of the person is, I'm going to kill them. So my thing is, well, did you ask them if they had anything before these activities took place? So it's no, okay, well, you have to take half the blame. My thing is, if everybody get checked before they engage, then you'll know what someone is bringing to the table.
Right.
You'll know what someone has, and then you'll know what to do. So that's where the first problem comes in at. We don't ask if anyone has anything. We don't ask them to go check. We don't check ourselves. So if we did that, we will eliminate 99% of the problems that we have. And a lot of times people are embarrassed to bring that up.
Right.
And so they don't ask, and then stuff come out, and then now we have a problem. And people don't like to talk about that as well. And that is extremely important to talk about. I tell all of my patients, all of my couples, all of my single people, you need to have that conversation. And then they ask me, well, how do you do it? I said, well, I call it housekeeping issues. Right. We need to talk about our housekeeping issues. So you find a way that's comfortable for you to broach that subject, but it has to be talked about. It has to be taught. Our kids are doing adult things and don't even understand it. So we have to teach them about these things so that they can be responsible. Now, of course, my first thing with teens I say is, God made sex for married people, so we shouldn't be doing it. So that's my first thing. Yes. And then I say, well, we're living in this world now of carnality and flesh, so is probably going to happen. So now this is what we need to do to learn about it and protect ourselves about it, because they have such misnomers. I have kids that, guys that say, I can't have anything because I use a condom. Okay, but you put your mouth on it and you didn't cover that up. So they thought that you can't catch anything any other way besides the germs. So educating and stop trying to cover it up, and that's the problem. We're trying to protect them, but we're hurting them because they don't know any better. So yes, it definitely needs to be discussed, brought out, talked about, and break that uncomfortable spirit that's around that, so that we can learn it and understand it and stop it.
Right. I love how you put that, because actually yesterday I saw a few kids. It was a group of kids. I wanted to stop. I should have stopped. But they were walking away from their high school. So I knew they were going to be going to somebody's house. And I'm like, Lord, we already know how this is getting ready to go down. I'm quite sure who has the key to their house. Their parents aren't expecting them to go to the house while they're at work. To do adult things. And then they end up with adult consequences. And in some cases, people allow those circumstances to thwart their destinies.
Absolutely.
And so it doesn't have to be like that, but sometimes you can stop and say something one time, but they need a reason. Constantly. They need a reason, and you have to train them to think that way. So I remember when I was raising my kids, I trained them God's way. However, people are going to be people. And what you can do, if you find yourself in that position, protect yourself. And then I'm not saying go out and do it, but life does happen. And so, and especially you don't want to have babies with somebody and they're supposed to be in your life for a temporary season, and now you have a lifetime commitment because you didn't handle things at the top because you were living right now, not realizing today creates your tomorrow.
They don't think about consequences of actions.
So I'm like, there are some things out there that's not communicated to the general public that can kill you off a little bit quicker than the things we do know about. And so you want to think of even on the health stance, let alone the spiritual implications, because not only do you sleep with whoever that person's past was with physically, but in the spirit. You're speaking with all those spirits. So it's a lot that can be said about not just the STDs in the natural, but in the spiritual transmissions of demonic spirits that happen
you are connecting yourself with.
So people need to be aware that this does occur. We're not making this up, but if you're a believer and you walk with the Lord long enough, He's going to reveal all of this to you. But if you are having sex outside of the parameter called marriage, protect yourself. Use the condoms. There are male and female types. Everybody doesn't have to get disease.
Absolutely not.
And like I tell people, there are some things you don't have to discuss with somebody that you're planning on marrying, but that's one of those issues. If you have a disease, or if it can manifest later, you might only have incubation period going on, but in the future it can bloom into something that impacts the both of you. Or if you come from a history, I want to know.
And that adds into getting your yearly physicals. Everybody walks in, I run a panel unless you specifically tell me I don't want you to do that. That's just automatic. And so many people go, I didn't know that was there because nobody ever checked, or they never got checked. And then it's great to have this clean bill and say, hey, you have nothing.
It answers a lot of questions,
right, and,
you know.
and you want to keep it that way. And that promotes people to be more aware and more careful.
Yes.
So, yes.
Because you don't want that cloud over your head. I wonder, or should I?
Yes.
You know, like where I go, that's what it's a standard now. They just run all those tests to make sure no one has anything.
And it should be. And there are some that are silent. You don't even get symptoms. You contract it, and then your body tries to wall it off, and you don't see symptoms, but you can still pass it. So there are things that people can say, "Oh, I never got anything," but it's there. So you definitely need that test done. You definitely need it done.
Yes. And then it can tell you the quality of your relationships,
Absolutely.
you know, how truthful people are.
Oh, goodness.
And I chalk it as to, that's how you love yourself. Because Jesus said, love everybody else as you love yourself. So how can you effectively love somebody else if you don't want to love on you and take care of your health?
Absolutely.
I remember somebody said, well, if I got married and my mate caught a disease from me, well, it's death till do us part. And I'm like, but that mate has to love themselves enough to decide whether or not that's the journey they want to walk. Is that love relationship that good?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, but anyway, that's a whole nother story. Okay, it is what it is, but we serve the living Christ, and Jesus, he loves all of us, whether you do good, do bad, whether you take care of your health or not, you know, whether you are crying, you didn't stop eating those potatoes 5 minutes ago.
He's there for us no matter what. We just need to come to him.
Right.
He's always there.
And there is grace for you to help you as you manage your health. Dr. Thedford, I want to thank you again for being here in the studio again here at WCEG Network. We've learned a lot. I've enjoyed the conversation, the joy that we hope that you can experience as well as you maintain your health, and know that it is your personal responsibility to do so. Do you have any final words you want to share with everyone?
Just go get your yearly physicals. Go get checked. Don't be afraid. Just do it, and you will find out a lot. There's so many things that can be prevented if you just go. So my biggest thing is go get yourself checked out. Preventative medicine is the key. So just go and get it done.
Preventive maintenance, everybody.
Yes.
Just like your car, you change the oil up on it. You know, every now and then you have to change the air filters, the fuel filters, all of that. We have to do that with our bodies. We only get one.
That's it.
Okay. And if it can be reversed, whatever it is, it might not even be as bad as you think.
Absolutely not. I see that most of the time. They think they have this and, oh, your cholesterol is great. Wow, I didn't know that. And now they feel great, and now they want to continue doing better. So it's wonderful. You should.
All right, everybody. So we heard it. The doctor is in the studio. She's given us enough to work with to take care of ourselves. And we do love you in the name of the Lord Jesus. Take care of yourselves. Love on you. That's your job. Love on you. So we ask you to take care. God bless.